After October the 7th, this sea of misinformation has emboldened and empowered anti-Israel voices to target, intimidate, and harass Jewish students. And I know because it happened to me. During a Senate meeting, protesters stormed into our student government building and called for my removal, my resignation, and an impeachment against my leadership because my Jewish identity was called a conflict of interest.
I was walking to class and I had heard the chants of "From the River to the Sea," and I decided that it was much more important for me to be counter-protesting this anti-Israel rally instead of going to my class. I spent 3 hours counter-protesting these people who were calling for the destruction of me and my homeland. There were a few times where a red truck drove by. There were 2 boys in the back who, the 3rd time, stopped, held up the Israeli flag, and started burning it. 3 Jewish students went up and attempted to rip the flag away from them, and that's when some Jewish students were beat up. It was honestly a really scary moment because I had never been exposed to anything like that.
When you think of an Ivy League, you think of a very highly academic institution where people are constantly achieving higher education and for higher knowledge. And what I've been finding is that a lot of people have been spreading and have been posting information that is not fully contextual to like what is happening, as well as just factually incorrect.
When professors can say anti-Semitic things to us and students can chant "From the river to the sea," the only time a professor gets in trouble is when they say death to a terrorist organization. So the double standard is absurd, and that's something I've been really involved in. We started a petition that has actually today crossed 15,000 signatures.
It was just like a very threatening feeling to see that, like very much so, like being a Jew and like just going to grab a coffee in the morning, like before you're going to the library, and seeing people carrying Nazi flags, the flag that meant that if we knew you're a Jew, like we want to kill you, was a very threatening feeling.
There's been like a big atmosphere of intimidation of Jewish students and Jewish voices, and this twisting of history and portraying the Jewish people as colonizers, which is totally untrue and totally misinformed. So to counter that at USC, I've been doing things like hosting rallies. We hosted a Balloons for Hope event where we put out all the hostage posters and a balloon for every hostage. I've been doing things like tabling, sitting up an Israeli flag, and just talking to people about Israel and trying to educate them because people are just uninformed. It's a lot of anti-Semitism, but it's also a lot of ignorance.
We decided to have a vigil in a very prominent part of campus in Library Mall, where a lot of students are walking by constantly. And we prepared prayers, we prepared speeches, song. 400 people there, I would say, show up, and then around 150 on our live stream. Kids, parents, like people from all over were tuning in.
I developed this love of Israel not only from Milken, but also my own family. And Milken has really allowed me to explore that and expand on my love for Israel.
I'm fortunate enough and other students from Milken to have experiences like Tiferet classes with Mr. Meyerson, where we learn about Zionism and what it means to be a proud Jew and what it means to be a Zionist. And those are the voices that we need right now on college campuses. And that's why I'm super thankful for the support I had at Milken in helping me figure out what type of Jew I am and what type of Zionist I am. Because if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't feel comfortable speaking up right now.
At Milken, we don't just learn about Israeli art, food, and culture. We also get this deep understanding about the history and the regional complexity of the land. It really allows us to gain a deeper understanding of why this land is so important to the Jewish people.
You need to be an advocate when you get on campuses, and you need to be that light in the darkness of the world right now. So don't be afraid, be excited to spread the message and spread your love of Israel and your love of Judaism.